At 5:41 p.m., December 2nd, 1947, a single Morse code word echoed, then silence. That word, STENDEC, was the last communication from British South American Airways Flight CS-59, a Lancastrian airliner named Stardust. It vanished over the Andes, leaving behind a mystery that would baffle investigators for over half a century. Stardust, a converted Avro Lancaster bomber, was on a scheduled flight from Buenos Aires, Argentina, to Santiago, Chile. Aboard were 5 crew members and 6 passengers, including a Palestinian diplomat, a German businessman, and a British courier. The flight was routine for most of its journey, navigating the treacherous mountain passes that separate Argentina and Chile. But as it approached Santiago, something went terribly wrong. The weather, known for its sudden shifts in the Andes, began to deteriorate. Captain Reginald Cook, a highly experienced pilot with thousands of hours, was at the controls. He had flown this route many times before, yet on this day, the familiar landscape would become a deadly labyrinth. The final transmission, that enigmatic STENDEC, was received by Santiago Air Traffic Control. It was garbled, incomplete, and unlike any standard aviation code. Efforts to contact the aircraft again proved futile. Stardust had simply vanished. Immediately, a massive search operation was launched. Chilean and Argentine forces scoured the vast, unforgiving terrain of the Andes. Pilots flew daring missions through mountain valleys, but found no trace of the plane or its 11 occupants. Weeks turned into months, then years. Stardust became a ghost story, a chilling legend whispered among pilots and locals. Without wreckage, there could be no answers. The mystery deepened with every passing season. Theories proliferated. A mid-air explosion, a sudden structural failure, sabotage. Some even speculated about alien abduction, a testament to the sheer inexplicability of the disappearance. But all were just theories, lacking any concrete evidence. The prevailing official explanation eventually settled on a controlled flight into terrain, or CFIT. This occurs when an airworthy aircraft is inadvertently flown into the ground or water, usually due to pilot error, spatial disorientation, or navigation issues. The Andes, with their deceptive peaks and sudden weather changes, were notorious for such incidents. Pilots could easily become disoriented, believing they were higher or further along their route than they actually were. The altitude in Santiago was also a factor. Pilots often struggled with judging their descent into the valley, particularly in poor visibility. It was a challenging approach even for experienced crews. For 50 years, the Stardust remained lost. The families of those aboard lived with unanswered questions, the wound of their loss never truly healing. The mystery seemed destined to remain unsolved, buried forever in the icy grip of the mountains. Then, in 1998, a team of Argentine mountaineers made a startling discovery on Mount Tupungato, one of the highest peaks in the Andes. They stumbled upon fragments of metal and fabric, half buried in the glacial ice. Initial investigations confirmed the fragments belonged to an aircraft. The serial numbers matched those of British South American Airways Flight CS-59. Stardust had finally been found, over 5 decades after its disappearance. The discovery site was incredibly remote, at an altitude of over 15,000 feet. The extreme conditions had preserved much of the wreckage, providing invaluable clues to what had actually happened. Further expeditions in 2000 and 2001 uncovered more debris, including a propeller, landing gear, and even human remains. The evidence began to paint a clearer picture of Stardust's final moments. The wreckage was highly fragmented, scattered across a wide area. This indicated a high-impact crash, consistent with the aircraft flying directly into the mountain at considerable speed. There was no evidence of a mid-air explosion or fire. The most compelling piece of evidence, however, came from the engines. Their condition suggested they were operating at full power at the moment of impact. This strongly supported the CFIT theory. Investigators concluded that Captain Cook, likely due to a combination of poor visibility, severe turbulence, and a miscalculation of his position, believed he was much closer to Santiago than he was. He started his descent prematurely. The unique weather conditions of the Andes, particularly strong jet streams, could have also pushed the aircraft off course without the crew realizing it. They were flying into a mountain, unaware of the imminent danger. But what about STENDEC? This single, perplexing word remained a puzzle. For years, it fueled speculation, from secret codes to alien messages. The true meaning, however, turned out to be far more mundane, yet equally tragic. A British expert on Morse code suggested that STENDEC was a misinterpretation. In the stressful, turbulent conditions of the cockpit, combined with poor radio reception, the message could have been a garbled attempt to transmit dissent. The letters for dissent and STENDEC are remarkably similar in Morse code, especially when transmitted rapidly and under duress. It was a desperate, final communication from a crew facing their last moments. The mystery of star dust, therefore, wasn't solved by exotic theories, but by the slow, painstaking work of mountaineers and forensic investigators, combined with a deeper understanding of human error and the unforgiving nature of the mountains. Stardust's story serves as a stark reminder of the perils of early aviation and the profound impact of even a single, garbled word on an enduring mystery. Discover more untold stories from aviation's past in our next deep dive.